All right, welcome, ladies. We are here today to talk about the legend,
Yeah.
the orator,
Yeah.
the all-knowing Taylor Madonic Schneider, TMS. She has a lot, Tay-Tay. She has a lot of names that she goes by.
She does.
And a lot of handles.
Yeah.
My co-host today, Sherry Garnier.
Hi. Thanks for
Say
having
hi
me.
to all your fans out there.
Hi.
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 That was splendid, Sherry.
Thank you.
Looks like I'm on my own on this one. So, so here today, we're here to learn more about Taylor Madonic Schneider, whatever you want to go by.
Yeah.
Let's find out more about her.
Yeah, thanks for having me today, Chris. I feel like we did this interview with you a little while ago, and I'm like, whoa, this was fun. Let's do it again.
Absolutely.
Zoom is great, but, you know, a little bit of lights and camera, it's pretty cool.
I think we called it Oprah-esque.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very Oprah-esque.
It's cool. It's a whole different vibe, and I was kind of craving it. So thanks for having me today.
You're very welcome.
And the if you're a part of Taylor's subscription, you'll obviously be listening to this. And Taylor, you've been interviewing lots of other people, and now we get to interview you.
We do.
So Chris, you and I are tag team in this one, and we get to roll with this and find out a little bit about Taylor Madonic Schneider's journey of this whole mediumship and this spiritual journey that you've been on, and that you've been guiding so many people through at this really crazy young age, because you're just a wee one. We call you the wee one.
With one gray hair.
And she's got one gray hair, which I'm secretly excited about, because you've got a lot more to catch up to me with. So how did this all start for you, Taylor? Like, how did this, and I legitimately actually want to know this, because I don't know that I do know it as well as I know you now.
Yeah.
How did this journey start for you?
Yeah, so thank you two for being here today, because I really haven't shared my story with anybody.
No.
And it's a whole different ball game when you have to show up and talk about yourself. I love to talk about everybody else and hold space, and those are great conversations, but when you have to show up and talk about your own life, it's different. So hear me out today. Hopefully it's good. I feel like when you look at your own story, you're like, I don't know, is it boring? Is it good enough?
Yes, I can relate.
You know, like everybody's waiting for my story. I'm like, well, I hope I don't disappoint. But let's get rolling. So basically, whole life, very in tune, very spiritual, very connected. How did I know? Well, I suffered physically, very sick. I was a very sick child. So about grade 6, I got... they wanted to diagnose me with something, so I got basically tested for a whole bunch of different things, special needs, ADHD, all, all the things, basically.
In the school system.
In the school system, yeah. And they discovered nothing was wrong with me, like there's still something. I definitely wasn't good at school. Learning was not my thing. Didn't like it.
It was a struggle.
It was a struggle. Was not good at it. Basically, they just passed me so they didn't have to deal with me again.
And as a child, did you feel that resistance?
Okay, so I was
connected
to the teachers.
Because you're an old soul and you've got
like the kids were like,
people as good
okay,
friends.
like you're the same age as me. Okay, like this is interesting. Like not meaning in an egotistical way, but it just felt like I really had not much in common with the people around me. So I did tend to hang out with the adults, hang out with the teachers, hang out with the teacher assistants. They were always my friends, really. And if they sucked, well, I knew they sucked. You know, like I vibed, I caught onto it. So as time went on, I kind of turned into a little bit of a daredevil, a little bit of a rebel. I'd say middle school was pretty wild for me. Because now I'm so in tune, but I don't know what's wrong. I don't know, they've tried to diagnose me. They can't. So then I turned to booze, basically, like as most teenagers, you start to smoke and drink. And so I smoked cigarettes and I drank, and I did it to the point of always being wasted, never just enjoying, never just, a few casual drinks. And I know now when I look back, it was just a numbing.
Blocking it off,
knowing, everybody's suffering, feeling it, and thinking it's my own. So I would find ways to numb it out.
So do you think you felt other people's pain as well as your own?
Totally. Because here's the thing about mediumship that you learn as you develop it, that often the suffering that you're feeling is not your own, but you're confusing it with your own self, right? You think that you are suffering, that you are effed up, that you know, have no control of your life, and that you maybe need medication or, you know, to go to an institute or whatever it is, right? So yeah, you basically feel effed up, and you're trying to find ways to numb it out. So for me, it was definitely drinking. Even in high school, like, this was years, you guys. Like, my poor mom went through a lot with me. Like, I was definitely the hard child. And I was just lucky to have really, really great support and people that just stuck with me. But I definitely put my family through the ringer with me, because I was that daughter that, you know, you showed up at the end of the night, and I was always a puddle. Yeah. And it was just for the reason of I couldn't cope with
but
what I was.
But looking back, you see that, but then you didn't.
Then I didn't. Yeah. So it was like, oh my God, I guess this is who I am. This is what I'm doing. And then as I like reflect to now, the relationships I attracted in my life were always the ones that needed saving or help or fixing. Yep. Yeah. Because you see, when you're broken, you're constantly looking for something, you know, somewhere to put your energy, because you feel broken. So then you're starting to attract these people in your life who also need help and support. And it's almost your distraction, so that you don't have to look within. You can now help somebody at an external. So when I look back at relationships, I always was in a relationship, I think, because I'd get connected with an individual and be like, hey, this is a safe zone. I know your energy. Even if it wasn't good, even if it was a really toxic relationship, because most of the relationships I can think back of were toxic. But that's where I was at in my own life. That's what I was attracting, because I did not understand.
You weren't in alignment.
I was not in alignment with anything in my life. I was suffering, right? So then as time goes on, I go to another medium. I met Bonnie Worth, I think, when I was about 17 or 18. As soon as I walked in, she's like, Taylor, you are a medium. And actually, thank you, Mom. She sent me to her for my birthday present. She's like, Taylor, because I wanted to go into nursing, and I just wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if nursing...
So helping.
I love to help. Yeah. I worked with people with special needs for years. I used to work with horses and take people on trail rides. Like, I always did a lot of helping and caring for other people. So here I am, I'm going to go into nursing. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wipe some butts and feel good about myself. Not that that's all that nurses do. Nurses are amazing. But that's literally kind of the vibration I was at, right? Yeah. Like, I'll just continue to suffer and just help other people. And then I went to Bonnie, and she's like, you know what, Taylor, you are so connected and so in tune. And in that moment, it just felt like such a relief to know, for once in my life, I'm not being I'm being told, you're perfectly fine. Yeah. And now just be who you are. Because my whole life, I did not accept who I was.
And it landed, because there was an inner knowing that you didn't maybe have a vocabulary around, but you're like, she's right. Exactly. I know this.
It sat so good that at 17, I said, I'm going to take training. So I think I messaged Bonnie within that month, like, sign me up. My mom's like, yeah, this can be your education. Like, if this is what you want to do, you do it.
She's probably like,
thank God she's not going to nursing, because she was going to fail that. Like, which I would have, because it wouldn't have been my thing. So thanks, Mom. Seriously, saved my day for that. Great mom. Yeah. Such good support. Anyways, so Bonnie helping me open my eyes, and as soon as I started to take her training, I literally started my business. Like, I think at 17, you don't really think of other people judging you. You're kind of like, you know what, I'm in high school anyways, people judge you all the time. Yep. So why not just jump into it?
Rather than being a 50-some-year-old thinking, oh my God, what's everybody going to think if they
find out at that time you have so many different connections in your life, and you're just at this different space where, for me, I'm like, I don't really care. I'll take it. I'll see what happens. And I started to offer sessions out of my parents' house, and it just... I remember it was a $90 session, my first session, and I'm like, oh my God, this is way too much. You know, nobody's going to come. And they just kept pouring in. And they'd give me $100 and $110 and $120. And I'm like, what? I thought 90 was crazy, you know? And it was just such validation to just keep going with it. Yeah. So I just did. And I in my little room, the people that I met, absolutely life-changing. Like, the stories, the space I held, I can think back to so many sessions that have just changed my life.
I was just going to say, so people come to you for guidance or clarity, but also, on top of that, you give that to them, but then it also lands for you too, right?
Right,
Like
that's-
it's also kind of
that's
a
the thing.
message.
I don't think at the time I realized it until I've gotten older and looked back and realized every person that walked in to my room served a purpose for me.
Yep.
And it takes time to get that around your head that you maybe held space, but they taught you something. They brought something to you. You grew and became something greater because of their presence.
Yeah.
And them showing up for you. So that was pretty powerful.
Because the cool part is when you're young like that, you think to yourself, well, what do I have to offer?
Right?
And you can simply hold space and be present and listen.
Yeah.
And, maybe get them out of their own way a little bit. And obviously you're going to get information that comes through, but it's just to be there.
Right? And no one that I served at the beginning of my career was my age. They were, 30, 40, 50, 60,
Well, look
70.
who you're hanging out with now. You're 20.
It's kind of what I do, you guys.
I
It's kind of
know.
been my whole life. It's just who I am. And that's why I say age and time is no such thing. It is no such thing.
Couldn't agree with you more, because if you take any of the three of us, there's times in our life where we probably spoke to, connected with, held space for people that were far in excess of our age.
Right.
You were 17. I started in this business when I was 19. Sherry, you're a teacher, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're right. The age doesn't matter. That's just a judgment.
Yeah.
It is.
So it's just a matter of saying, okay, I can learn as much from a child as I can from an 80-year-old.
Exactly.
And in that sense, but a lot of the people that you saw were probably just like you, going, I don't know why I feel this way, and I
Exactly.
need some guidance or some help.
Exactly.
Here.
So I think, when I look back, I think I was a safe place to let them know it's okay to feel what you feel.
Yeah.
And I think it's just really powerful, even just beyond the mediumship, just to be there for people and let them know that they're heard and it's okay and that they're safe to show up vulnerable and however they feel in this moment, right?
That's certainly what I'm learning about this whole journey. It's not, mediumship is almost like an inadequate or misguided word, right?
It is.
Because it's not really that. It's really about connecting with people.
It's connection. It's human connection.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, well, the question that's come to me right now is, what is it like for you to connect? Like, how did it start for you? Or like, what was the feelings when you would start to have these sessions? And how has that shifted or changed? Or like, because your business has really started in this one spot and now it's taking off and kind of unfolding in this whole other direction.
Totally. I think when you start anything, as you're like getting good at it, you're like, wow, this is amazing. Look at what I can do. It's like playing hockey. All of a sudden you get good and you're like passing and I don't know any terminology of hockey, but you know what I mean. Yeah. And you think it's really great. And then you get good at it and then it just becomes kind of your natural thing. So I think that's a lot about mediumship too, which I'm going to go back here. Mediumship is the M-E to the mediumship, right? So it's all about you, right? How you grow and develop shows how much you're able to give to everybody else. So as you begin, I mean, it's cool and it's great and you're like, wow, some aha moments and you have sessions that just blow you out of the park. And then you get good at it, kind of just like anything, like hockey or going to the gym. You grow the muscles and you become more powerful with it, and it becomes a natural gift and ability. It really does. And that's why I teach mediumship in the way that as long as you're committing to it, you will grow and develop into it, just as you will with anything, and it will become what you are. It does.
Yeah.
So like exercising that muscle.
Right? So since 17, I've been doing it. Like, the muscle's pretty strong.
Yeah, it's just
I use it every day, all day. I use it in all aspects of my life. I did not take mediumship for my career. I took mediumship for my life, and it brought forward a career.
Ooh, that's juicy. Hey?
Yeah.
And look at your top shelf. Bars high, you guys.
And now I'm here doing, I would have had no idea that being in my little space, holding space for people would have led me to these kind of opportunities in my life.
Do you have...
And I probably wouldn't have wanted to know because at 17, if I knew I was going to do anything beyond that comfortable space.
So here she is. She struggles in school. She hates school. She fails at school. And now you're teaching courses that you've written and developed. Like, that's kind of wild.
It is kind of wild.
Right?
It is. And my teachers are coming to take them. They're taking these programs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Isn't that wild? It's a full circle.
So then it begs the question is to say, how many people are, let's say walking the street that are closeted is the wrong word, but
that's a good word.
They don't know what gifts and abilities they have to even, to bring it within themselves.
Yeah.
When you hear mediumship, a lot of people think, well, that means I have to be in a dark room.
Yeah, calling ghosts in.
Yeah, and talking to the dead, or I got to have
waking the dead, knocking on the graveyard.
Like voodoo dolls and big
None
needles.
of that, you guys.
Yeah. So I think the definition of it gives it a bad rap, because you've had a lot of
I agree.
You have a lot of people that would like to be tuned into themselves and maybe the energies that were there to support, but they don't know how to articulate that.
Exactly.
And it's, to be able to say that it's about you and your growth.
Yeah.
Whether it be spiritually, monetarily, professionally, it doesn't matter, any of the ollies.
Yeah.
And you say, okay, well, how do I want to use this?
Yeah.
How do I want to channel that through me to be able to be the best you can be, or Sherry can be?
Exactly. It's
So
powerful.
speak to that a bit more.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. So my perspective of going into the mediumship was to develop it as a career. Did I think it was going to be my career for the rest of my life? I didn't really know, but I wanted to step into it. So of course, when you go into connection with anybody, you just call forward the energy. If I knew I had an appointment with Chris that morning, Chris would be on my mind. I'd already be calling forward your energy. And I say it's almost like an antenna. It just rises out of your crown, right out of the top of your head. And it just goes and says, I'm attracting Chris's energy. And literally, before Chris would even walk in, and sorry, I'm just using you as an example for a name, but before an individual would even walk into the session, the whole session would already be laid out. Like, if anyone's come to me before, like, I usually have a big paper and everything that we need to cover is already wrote, because it's not your physical presence that brings forward the energy. It's that I can attach to your energy and attract your energy forward and say, okay, I want to vibe at Chris's vibe right now to understand where he's at, how I can help and support him, and channel in any messages that may be for his highest good, whether that's connected to his dead loved ones, or if that's just connected for himself with his divine team. Our divine team is made up of spirits, guides, angels, masters, all sorts of things that isn't necessarily connected to the people we have physically lost here in this lifetime.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Right?
And whether you're doing that, or whether Sherry was in the classroom, or whether I was helping or assisting some clients,
that you could call forward the energy and understand it.
The student might come in and Sherry might say, okay, well, this is where they need some support today or help, or the deal might hit my desk and I'll go, I'll map it out and go, this is what could happen.
Because you understand.
Because you understand it. But it's that fast.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter, we all brush it off, think, okay, well, that's just that. It's like, no, that's gifts,
something.
innate talents that we don't cultivate.
Speaks to you saying about how a stranger walking down the street, like, everybody has this.
Everybody has this.
Everybody has
sure.
it. We just, lots don't know that they have it.
Yep.
Lots don't
they're
block
just
it because they don't
undeveloped.
want to have
Undeveloped.
Yep.
it. And that's why your courses have been so powerful, right? To kind of bring that the me in the mediumship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I am trying to change the name of the game, because when I took the mediumship, it was very ghostly and very much you're waking the dead and you're dealing with the devil and all these old beliefs that they came from religion and they came from the past, but guess what, you guys, we ain't living in that anymore.
Yeah.
No.
Let's change the name of the game. And that's where I felt purpose came forward for me of, I want to change the name of the game, because every person who's walking in through my door needs some self-help. They need some coping mechanisms. They need ways to get through what their physical reality is presenting them with.
Because there's challenges and
Because
life is bumpy.
Life is
hard.
fucking hard for all of us. We're on this human experience. And if it was going to be easy, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
We all need to struggle. We all need these challenges, because that is where we learn. That's where we become. It's where we grow.
Yeah.
So
we're all too padded. We all want it easy. Our society, our reality has taught us comfort is the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Make enough money so you can sit on a beach or do this, or it's like, well, I don't want to go and step outside of my box because that's what I know and what I'm comfortable in. But you're right, that's where
And here's the question I want to challenge everybody with. So your big goal is maybe to be rich, or maybe to live on the beach, or maybe to retire and have freedom. But are you happy with yourself when you get to that stage of your life? Are you?
Oh, I'd even take that a step further. Are you happy now?
Yeah.
Right.
Because what's sold to us is that will make you happy.
Exactly.
So if I
Right.
can't be happy
Keep
today,
chasing.
In this moment.
if I can't be present and happy in this moment,
How am I going to be when I have that? How am I even going to enjoy it?
Yeah. So let's say when I first, a friend had referred me to yourself. So you're right. I'm showing up just saying, I don't want to feel this way anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just like you. I used to drink too much.
Yeah.
I love to eat when I want to shut
Yeah.
it off. Well, before I'm either dead, 500 pounds, or my
Blow up.
or my liver says cirrhosis,
around on the
we're done.
sidewalk.
Yeah, or chain smoking cigarette, whatever my it
Vice,
will be.
yeah.
I just like, help me out with this, because it's like, because we all, you're right, I believe we all have it.
We do.
We all, the
do.
antennas up, and you say, okay, how do I understand what's coming towards me?
Yeah.
We've all stopped at a stoplight and looked across, and the other person is pissed off in the other car.
Yeah.
And we drive away, and suddenly I'm like, what the hell just happened?
Exactly.
Well, you just tuned in on that person's pissed offness.
Yeah,
Right.
and now you are it.
And now you are it. And we do that so automatically.
So
That
naturally.
we're not aware, right? We have no
Yeah.
clue.
So you're right. As the medium, that has a connotation to it.
Exactly.
It's just aware.
Yeah.
awareness.
So if you're able to teach and to empower and to show people, say, you're just aware.
Yeah.
You just don't understand that, how aware you are.
Yeah.
Well, hallelujah, girl. I mean, praise Jeebus, or whatever we're talking about today, is to say that's what the world does not know how to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how many children go through, Sherry was teaching them and probably had the best intent, but these little buttons sitting there going, I don't understand what the hell is going on. I can feel what's going on over there, or and not
Yes.
even know it.
And
right?
Yes.
I really believe that, Taylor's right. We are in times of massive change right now. I think
Yep.
the education system is kind of crumbling in a sense for this new path. Like, kids need more than sit down and work on a workbook, and if you get a check mark, you can go to the next page, and if you get an
Yep.
X, you got to redo it.
Yeah.
There's so much more. Like, why do you teach a fish to climb a tree? You
Yeah.
don't, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You let a fish really swim as best as it can.
And to just allow them to be who they are, and if we could learn our power, at that young age, like, what could we create? Like,
Yeah.
how powerful would we be if we didn't have to go through the whole, our whole upbringing, our whole life feeling that there was something wrong with me? If we felt that we were perfectly fine, what could we do with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in turn, we're not just kind of tuning in and aligning for ourselves, but then we're making our community, our family, our
Everybody.
like the
It's the
world,
Great Awakening.
It's the Great Awakening. It is.
I didn't even know what awaken meant at
And
the
that was the
time
name of
at
your
17
business.
when I started the biz. It just came to me, and now I'm seeing it. I am helping awaken individuals.
Yeah.
But speak to that, because it goes much further. Because in the ripple effect of what's happening, if someone gets to understand more about themselves, I don't believe, as we've talked about before, I don't believe in helping anyone. You're
No, you can't.
you're the guide to be able to say, just rough this away and be
you're
able
right.
to discover what you have for abilities, and then
Exactly.
run with it. And then from there, the ripple effect that will go out from there. So when Taylor decides to step up and hold more space or learn more and grow, then all the people around her do.
Exactly. Yeah, and you're right. I don't call myself a teacher. I think I don't like the word. I'm not a teacher. I'm a spiritual guide. I'm a
Yeah.
spiritual guide guiding you into your greatest potential. Because you maybe aren't even aware of your greatest potential, and that
Yeah.
you're capable of having what it is you really seek in your life. And you maybe don't even know what you seek because you're so confused and wrapped up in the suffering of the consciousness that you've never even seen outside of it.
Yep.
That's kind of like we can't see the forest for the trees. Like, even sitting here as we've gotten to know each other through this journey that we've been on through your courses, it's like you guys can see where I'm like staggering through the bushes. It's hard for me to see that.
Exactly.
But when you guys can help to give me some clarity, then I have more choice. Chris's
Yeah.
big word, right?
Yeah, because when people go to see Taylor or to see yourself or even come to see me
Yep.
for needs from a professional basis, and we're all pros at what we do.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is that we're doing. We can look at that from a non-emotional perspective. Like, I'll have people come in and say, well, this is just simple. Like, do this. Or
Yeah.
Get out of your own
You
way.
did that for Taylor one day.
Get out of your own way. And
Yeah,
it's
he
like,
did.
it's so, and they just say,
Wow, you blew
oh
my
my
socks
God,
off.
you do that. And I'm like, no, it just was all late. It's just
obvious.
It's all you just waiting to be you.
Yeah.
And that's where we're so confused, either through programming, or you're right, or the fear that's wrapped around us, or whatever
Yeah.
the case might be. Is just to say, if you were just to be you, I believe that's why superhero movies have still gone on a 20+ year run. We're all superheroes.
Yeah.
We just don't know what our special power is.
Yes, so I
Yeah,
love that.
so you
And we're
just,
looking outside of our own selves for it. Like,
Yeah.
we're not
Yep.
realizing that we have to look within to really emerge within it and integrate it and really realize, I guess, who we are.
Yep.
At a soul level.
And, and some of those superpowers, I mean, it's when you try to bottle it, shut it off. I drink too much, I eat too much.
Then you start to feel the consequences.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how many...
So now it's lowering your vibration so that even if you want to find your greatest power and potential, you won't reach it.
Correct.
Because you're not even at the space to understand it. So it's like, first you have to heal. And I think that that's what I was doing with private sessions, is I was just holding space to help people heal.
Yep.
But then I'm realizing I'm sending them away, and I'm doing this for 5 years, and they're coming back with the same problems because they're healing, but they don't really know where to go from that,
Yep.
what that looks like.
And they fall
that's-
back into the loop.
Right? Then they're back in, and they're just continuously repeating. And every session we have, whether it's a year or a month apart, is the exact same session. They're still seeking the same thing because they're still going back to their old ways of doing, being, and thinking. Nothing has changed. And that's when I went, I've got to create something that I can incorporate my mediumship to allow everybody to realize they have this within themselves. Correct. They need to take time to build it up. They need to take time to look within because they're not going to find it at an external standpoint.
True.
They've tried.
And to get to that point before crisis.
Yeah.
So imagine if that was presented to you as an option when you were X amount of years old. I don't care if you're 5 or 50.
Yeah.
It's like, instead of saying there's something wrong with me and your health and your vitality gets to the point of crisis before you say, there's got to be something else.
Right.
Son of a gun, this is just not working.
Yeah.
I'm sick. Maybe I have terminal, whatever the case may be. Or maybe
Yes.
I'm just, sitting in that classroom going, I don't fit into any of these
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And I'm not connecting with any of them.
Yeah.
And you're an old soul, or you're saying, well, I can pick up on all this stuff, and they just don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if I can, and that's my goal really, Chris and Sherry, like if I can support people before they're rock bottom, and if they're in rock bottom, sure, I'll help them too. Cool. But if I can let you know who you are before you have to reach that point in your life.
Yeah.
Because you shouldn't have to have a diagnosis before you realize you need to change something in your life.
Yeah.
Well, how did you find Taylor?
Well, I was just thinking that my neighbor Lori, she's honest to God, this woman was an animal in another life. Like, she is so connected to her animals. And I think she lost a pet, and I think she went in, she was devastated. Rightfully so, but for her, even more so. And she went to Taylor, and then we were talking on the street, and she shared with me. I'm like, wait a minute, I knew Taylor when she was a little girl. We used to ride horses together out at Grahamtown, because I knew Britt, her friend Britt. And so then I went for a session, and I was blown away, like absolutely blown away. The shit that you come in, I'm just like, I looked like I was, those models with the wobbly heels. I just came out like, oh my God.
But here's the thing too, it's not that I delivered anything that you didn't know.
No, but it was confirmation.
It was confirmation because all I do is meet the vibration that you're at and sit from an outsider standpoint to let you know, here's what's coming forward. I'm not in your own mind. I don't live your life, but here's what shows up when I attach to your energy.
Right.
So I'm not delivering you, and that's where people are scared of mediums. What am I going to find out?
Yeah.
I am not delivering you from the unknown. You know this deep down. You just aren't honoring it.
Yeah.
So would you say to yourself, you're almost like you plug into it and display it like you'd see on a TV screen, is to say, here's
I feel like I'm like confirmation.
Yeah.
You're like, you have to go through, like, not me, but you have to, every human needs a little bit of confirmation before they take that next step, before they know they're good enough or worthy of it. And I think a lot of the time, all I'm doing is confirming what you already know on the inside. You just don't know if you have enough power to believe it.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
I really I want to ask about your kids. I want to ask about your babies and how that has, you're young, you're a young wife, mom, business owner. Like, how have your children, your pregnancies and raising these 2 little girls, how has that influenced or brought you clarity or changed your course or
Totally.
bring some of that into it? 'Cause I think
yeah.
that's a really important piece, Taylor.
Right. So 17 started my business, ran with just private sessions, and then 21, my fiance at the time and I got engaged, and actually I got pregnant that night. Wow, Valentine's Day.
Powerful career.
Yeah.
There you go.
So it's happening. It's real. So that pregnancy was wild. Obviously, your first pregnancy is wild because
And you were 21.
I was 21.
Good
Yeah.
God.
So at that time I went, okay, I need to step up my game. So I did a ton of private sessions. I think I was doing 3 private sessions a day, 5 days a week. So that's like a ton. That's a ton when you work at an energy standpoint, because energetically, like when you're trying to keep that antenna up to meet somebody's vibration, it's like you're running a marathon. So if I do an hour session, it feels like I'm running a marathon for an hour. And you guys probably,
Yeah.
have experienced
Yes.
that. And then you're burnt out because you're like, wow. And if you don't have a lot to give because you're tired or you're growing a baby or whatever's happening in your life, you're being left a little bit, feeling depleted.
Yep.
So I got to the point of depletion and said to my family, okay, you guys, I'm going on my mat leave. This is like a week before the baby's due because I'm just crazy and love to work. And they're like, okay, great. And I'm like, no, let's celebrate. This is my retirement. Quote me to this. I am never coming back to do this again.
You were done.
I was done. I was so tired and depleted. I had held space, 5 years, and I just felt drained.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't giving from a space of energy of like I
Fulfillment.
was from love, but I was just tired in my own self. I wasn't taking care of.
Well, because there's a physicality to
There
this
was a
human
big thing
experience as
happening.
well. Yeah.
Big thing, yeah. And honestly, when I was pregnant, I tuned into my daughter. I knew exactly how she was going to look, what her name was going to be, all this sort of thing. I remember my husband said, "We will not decide the name until she comes out." And I text my sister-in-law and said, "Hey, make this sign. Her name's Emerson Jack." And she's like, I'm like, and store it at your house. This is about 5 months pregnant. I'm like, store it at your house. My husband can't know I've decided the name until the baby's out because I told him we'd wait.
Did you did you know it was going to be a girl from the doctors?
Oh, from the minute I was pregnant, I knew.
You knew it energetically, but did you do the testing and stuff?
I did.
Okay.
He needed to know. He needed to really understand it was going to be a girl for his own healing. Yeah. So he needed to be prepared. So we did a gender reveal, but of course I did know it was a girl, and it was a girl. And anyways, so as I have this baby, it was huge. It was shocking. It was, you now have another energy to take care of at all times. And I decided, hey, to go back to work because I feel like I need to. I want to be a provider. That's a Capricorn mind that I am. I love to work and provide in all ways I can. I need to create something different because I can't go back into the way. I'm raising this little baby. Like, I'm tired. I don't have a lot to give. So how can I give from a place that will fill me instead of deplete me? And actually it was Sherry. Sherry and another girl both asked, like, I want some training. I want some mediumship training. So I created the course through just doing some private sessions with them. Do you remember it, Sherry?
I do remember. Yeah, I do remember.
Yeah,
Very well.
and that was the first.
Call to action.
Yeah.
I was called to action, and after that, I had 5 people in the class, and then I had 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. As many people as I possibly can now because I love it. And I think the level 1 that I created for you, Sherry, or at the time it was for me as well, I think I've done about 15 classes of it, of about 10 to 12 people.
Yeah.
So there is a great awakening happening. People, I don't even really have to advertise, and people are like, hey, when's your next program? What's this look like? And that's so cool. That's so cool. It shows the great awakening is happening. So, in the middle of all of that, raising my daughter, Emerson, she is a Scorpio. She is so emotional, so in tune, so energetically connected that, in all honesty, she's stuck to me like glue. And I know it's just because I'm her safe zone. We understand each other really deeply. And she will, quote me to this, she will most likely be taking over my biz, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. I never even thought of that.
Yeah, she's so powerful. She's so in tune. She'll know. I can't tell her something because if she understands it, if she hears it through my tone, she will be emotionally attached to it.
Oh my God, that's how Kate is with me.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, I just got to put this under the rug because if I tell you, you're going to panic as much as I'm panicking. And you're too. And
Yeah.
you're too. So, yeah, it's just, and like I said, age is no such thing. She's such an old soul. And then we got pregnant again with our little Harper.
How is this happening?
I know.
Oh my
what?
God.
Maybe we should have her explain this. I don't
Okay, and
know.
you guys, this could have been Valentine's Day too.
Oh,
Because it was a
totally.
week after Emerson's birthday, so yeah, it could have been Valentine's Day or close to it.
Yeah, apparently that time, yeah.
Yeah.
The love is in the
Well,
air,
yeah, we
apparently.
know love.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I got a Sagittarius this round. Harper is a Sagittarius, which is a fire. She is nuts. She is hilarious. She's
She is
funny.
hilarious.
She's in tune, but in a very free way. Like I think she will inspire me to have more fun in my life and more freedom and more because I see it in her, and she's only 9 months old. She's just a different, light, funny, great energy that our family needed. So our girls are 2 years apart. So through my pregnancy with her, I created a level 2 and a level 3.
Yeah. They were not far apart.
Sherry's
Yeah, I know.
editing. Sherry's my editor. She's
Yeah.
like, holy shit, another
I was
program?
like,
I'm like,
whoa.
yeah.
So
yeah,
if she
another-
keeps having kids at this pace, they'll
I
be
know.
a level 9 and 10.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, God.
There you go. You're like, there won't be no end to this.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
I'm
every-
old, Taylor. I gotta retire.
Every pregnancy gives me a push to become something greater or something better because
Well, you're
now
creating.
I'm
right?
creating. I'm
Yeah.
creating a being, and I got to create something greater outside of me as well. So it really has always given me this up level, this push. So the last 3 years has been huge. I mean,
Yeah.
2 kids and a lot of manuals and classes and
And I think what I've noticed from when I met you to now, like we get tired and I see you getting tired at times. But these courses don't deplete you. Like
No.
you are fired up. Like you are high vibe.
like when I'm gonna
when
show
you're-
up, I'm showing up, and it's gonna be cool. Like it's almost like preparing for the stage. Like you're like, okay, we got a class today, and I gotta show up, and I gotta bring these people along. I gotta let them know they can meet this vibration. I want you all to. So I almost take a really deep responsibility that you are my people, and together we're gonna create something. We're gonna become something. All of us, however that looks.
So then let's talk about that, because I believe that all of us in our own individual way, that the people that are actually going to be listening to this are going to be of similar mindset.
Right.
But what you said earlier is to say, I have to do it in a way that's not all outgoing.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
a lot of us, I mean, my daughter is just starting in, she's a nurse, and I worry for her going that there's a lot of give, there's a lot of
Yeah.
healing, and the people are in, they're in crisis, or it's like, I need, help me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's a giver too. It's like, and it doesn't matter if it's any of your child, our kids, is to say, how do we teach them to be okay here? And take care
then-
of you, so then we can have the opportunity to be able to assist others, because most of us are taught to give.
Yeah.
Like you met
Deplete.
yours was a referral. I met her because I was at the end of my rope going, I'm so done. I've got, back then it would have been year 26 in the business, and I'm just saying, I've given for so long to so many. I'm just like, I don't know what I can do.
Yeah, you
here
showed up
anymore.
like kind of like a bobblehead. I remember.
Yeah, I was just like this. Like, hi, I was told to come see you. And here's some money. I don't care how much this
Who
costs.
are you, Taylor?
Just please fix me, because I'm fucked otherwise. and you're like, oh my god.
Here,
She
let me
brings
give
out-
you a
She
sheet.
starts sweeping
Yeah,
all your
exactly, yeah.
chakras and
She's got like 4 sheets for me because I'm so screwed up. But I'm that person that shows up saying, help. The medical system won't serve me.
Yeah.
I don't know how to fix. I don't know how to assist myself
Yeah.
or have tools or guidance.
Yeah.
So you go, even to this day, it's like that's the tough part is the differentiation between the self-healing and the self-help versus before we go out to pass it to others.
Right.
And how many people, to be able to empower them to be the best version of them, so then they can show up as a parent, a professional,
Exactly.
Yeah.
a community
In all
person.
aspects, right?
Yeah, as a human being, and
Yeah.
say, I'm bringing the best of me to the table.
Exactly.
Where it's always give, outward, out, or we get in lines of work where we're going to assist others,
Yeah.
and it eventually drains us.
It drags you down.
Well, when I used to teach swimming lessons, and when you're teaching lifeguards, you say, when you approach a drowning victim, you actually approach on your back with your feet up, right? And you go
Yeah.
move towards them with your hands, and because
They're gonna
they
climb.
climb, right?
Yeah.
Which means, so the only worse than one dead drowned person is two
Two.
dead drowned person.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you actually, if they come at you, you have to kick them,
Yep.
maybe even knock them out so that you can save
Hold them in.
Right? Safety first to the rescuer. That's Taylor.
Yeah.
And the thing about Taylor that I think I would love for you to speak to, Taylor, a lot of people, so she's got this business and she's pulling people in and she's offering all the, But what I see with you, Taylor, that I think is so remarkable is you want everyone to succeed and thrive alongside of you. You know, a lot of people have businesses and they're like, I want to be the best one, and I want to have the best reputation, and I want to have the most money and all the clients. And but you just open this platform and you're like, come along, like step on this platform with me. We're going places.
Yeah.
At this really young age, like there's. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's so
Yeah.
because there's so many people that are like the word greedy comes and I don't mean to sound it like that, but they don't want to share their knowledge and they don't want to lift people up in a way that might threaten their business.
Yeah.
But you've got this confidence and this knowing that just brings everybody up onto this platform. It's just like, holy shit, this is big.
Well, thanks for seeing that, because I probably don't really see that in my own self.
I see it, Taylor.
The thing is, too, and maybe from stepping in at 17, I didn't really ever look at my competitors or to think that I'm in competition. I showed up for the reason that I want to help and discover my own self and help and discover help others help and discover their own selves as well, right? So I think that was really taken out of the game as soon as I stepped into it, because I wasn't stepping in to be a competitor. I was stepping in to heal and help myself. And as I did that changed my vibration to realize I can help everybody else realize who they are and become the best version of themselves. And we're all so unique on planet Earth. Each one of us is so different that you really don't have any competitors except for yourself. Nobody is competing against you, because nobody can bring to the table what you can bring. So if you're insecure in the career that you're at of being the best, or what if that person got your client that you thought you should get or whatever, it's not the way you attract it. How you attract it is, I want to support the people who want my support, and I will be there for them. And if they don't need me, they will find somebody that can help them.
Yep.
And there is enough people for everybody.
Like abundance, right?
Yeah.
It's abundance, infinite.
As soon as you
It's
close the
infinite.
door to competition, you're closing the door. As soon as you think of competition, as soon as you think that somebody could be coming in your lane, because you're letting them. Nobody's coming in your lane but you. It's your fucking lane. Claim it.
And your lane is very wide.
Yeah.
Meaning that saying all yourself and everyone as individuals, because I agree with you. There's more than enough of everything for everyone.
Exactly.
This isn't a lack world or a universe
It's
we live
abundant.
in.
It's infinite abundance.
So you just say, okay, how much would you like to do? Whether it's work on yourself, whether it's business, whatever. It's like, what? You're the only limiter on you.
Yeah.
You're the only limiter. It's like,
Exactly.
get out of your own way.
Yeah.
Nowadays, when people message for private sessions, I direct them to anybody but me.
Yeah.
Great that you tuned in with me, but I'm not doing private sessions anymore, because I want to lead. I want to guide. So if you want to take a spiritual development program, I'll be your girl. But if you want a session for somebody to hold space for you, I have people I can recommend that are amazing
And
at
your
it.
list is getting longer and longer
And that's
longer
amazing.
because your
That's
circle's
what I
getting
want.
wider and wider and wider.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
people, so all these people are taking my programs not because they want to sit in the space that I sat as the medium holding the private session in the room and blah, blah, blah. They want to become the best at whatever they do, whether it's the realtor, to the teacher, to the yoga instructor, to the lawyer, to whoever you are.
Yeah.
If you can tune in to your greatest power and potential, you've got it. You've got it in the bag.
Especially because we see a lot of people that, they say, well, I got to keep switching jobs or go find my passion. It's like, your passion is within you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you don't ever create that or light that fire,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you do.
You're not
Yeah.
going to find it in another person, in another job, in another...
And if you're not
So-
happy and fulfilled with it, with yourself, whatever you do will not be successful.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So it's a whether you call it awakening, aligning, empowering.
Yeah.
We all have our own point of view on it or shtick on it, but at the end of the day, it's all very similar,
Yeah.
but so misunderstood.
So
It's like
misunderstood.
I have one more personal question I'm dying to ask. Talk a little bit about your relationship with your husband and your marriage and how that's unfolded as your journey has, because I mean, what I've seen with you in the last, how many years have we known each other now?
No
8,
idea.
whatever.
Quite a few, yeah.
It's like you're growing exponentially, like especially these last 3 or 4 years, it's just like bigger, right? There's no
Yeah,
limit.
yeah.
How is that with you and your husband and that relationship? Because that's kind of, those are big shoes to fill for Jordan too,
Right.
to be like, oh yeah, I'm married to the town medium. Like, oh yeah, no big deal.
Which is so funny because, okay, so when we met, here we are, sloppy Taylor, sloppy drunk again. You know,
Sloppy's a little
tuning
harsh.
out the world.
Well, yeah.
But we're at Amigos, and he somehow knew he liked me. Like, I wasn't even attracted to him, wasn't even drawn to him. He kept coming up to me, and he played hockey with my brother, and he said to me, I can't do this to your brother. And I looked at him and said, do what? Like, I'm not even into you, buddy. And I made him give me a ride home that night. And he bought me A&W, and I made him drop me off. That's it. See ya, buddy.
Yeah,
And
I'm using you for your truck
like,
and the
thanks
burger.
for the burger and the ride. Ciao. And then he sent me on Inbox, which he's not a social media guy, his number. And it took me a while, and I finally messaged him. And he told me now, not that long ago, Taylor, do you know that I was actually sending it out to the universe? Just get her to send me one text message.
Seriously.
And he said, I didn't even know what I was doing at the time. I said, well, you called the medium in because I texted you.
Oh, I love it.
And so actually the first month we met, we started living together. Our energy just connected. We're both earth signs. He's a Virgo, I'm a Capricorn. And yeah, we like to serve and we like to be busy and we're very career oriented. So I met him and he wasn't really up to much. He had just quit his job and I'm a Capricorn, so I'm like, okay, bud, what are you doing here? I made him a resume, I think the first week we got together and said, okay, get to work. What are you doing? And so he went into the construction industry, started to work. I said, let's go to school. So he went to school and I kind of just supported through my spiritual aspect because I was successful enough that I could do that. And so he's been building and he's in his own career now too. He's his own entrepreneur of siding and doing exterior work. So I mean, it's been difficult. No part of it's been easy. We started from nothing, as most people do, and have just put a lot of power and energy into each other to believe in what we can do, how we can provide. He's a fucking cider outside in minus 30. Like, it's quite the career he's picked, but we're going with it for now. But I actually have seen in the last couple years, we've went through a lot of trauma together. We had some falling out with some family members, and it's just really drove us into this place where we needed to develop a deeper connection, a deeper bond. If our marriage was going to work, because the day of our wedding, actually a lot of things fell apart. Everything's supposed to fall together on your wedding. Everything fell apart at ours. So we had to...
Except the two of you.
Except the two of us. We looked at each other, and from that day forward, we're like, it's us against the world. Like, we've got our little girl, Emerson, at the time when we got married, and we're like, we've got this. We're each other's people. And it really gave us a push to wanting to grow and develop, almost because of the external complications and issues. It almost made us want each other more, I feel like. So we're like, yeah, let's do this. And he's really stepped into his own spirituality now, which is so cool. So cool to see somebody that really, again, had no idea of his own potential and power. I mean, he's meditating, he's amazing,
awesome.
he's developing, and I quote me on this, I think he will be along on my journey pretty soon. So
Cool.
that's pretty powerful.
Because most of us, for our backgrounds with our families and upbringings, that's just not on the table typically.
It's not.
No, it wasn't
So-
even talked about.
Yeah, so-
or if it was kind of made fun of, or like in that, like, I remember my dad saying one time, that woman at the lake was talking about a third eye. What the hell was she talking
Right.
about? Like, and I would have been like maybe
Yeah.
14, 15.
Yeah.
I never forgot that conversation, because even I was thinking,
Yeah.
third eye? Like, I don't know.
Where?
She's nuts.
Where's
I didn't
this
see. I always
eye?
thought too.
Exactly.
Whatever. Maybe it's under her bangs. I don't know. So yeah, you're right. It wasn't talked about then.
No. So and when you don't have many of your tribe, and you feel you're a one of, you're like, okay, well, I'm keeping this the
Yeah,
heck quiet.
I'm the black
'cause,
sheep. I'm going to keep
Right?
this in the
yeah,
closet.
So
Yeah.
let's go have some drinks, or let's go,
And I think that that's what Jordan has realized too, with it becoming our very intimate family. We're very connected to my family as well, but the people in our lives now are very much supporters of who we are and what we have to do. And I think it's just given Jordan this permission to dive into his spirituality and develop it and realize that it's okay, it's safe. And he's like, he called me a mentor or something the other day, and I'm like, no, like, I'm your wife. Like, I will guide you, and you can do all my stuff, and great, but I am your wife. and you develop you, and I will be there.
Can you imagine how powerful they're going to be 20 years down the road, right? If they're both on this page now,
So quote me on
exciting.
this. He'll be out of construction and into spiritual empowerment.
Cool.
Because he's going to bring the men.
You're calling it.
And you know what, Chris? He told me one day, he listened to your interview, and he said, to see a man show up so vulnerable and to realize that it's okay to be able to embrace your spiritual, emotional side has totally awakened me.
Because it's powerful.
So you showing up in the light that you did gave.
Yeah.
I've been in his life for 5 years. He's seen spirituality. He knows what it does. But when he's seen a man step into it, since he's watched that video, he's completely shifted.
Huh. Well, cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Because he said, I've now realized there is success in our emotions. Like there's success in our more feminine side than just showing up as the masculine, trying to be all and do all and egotistical. He said, I haven't had success there, but I'm listening to Chris, who is a very successful man, and I'm realizing there is success in that.
That's big hassle.
Well, there you go.
Look at you
It's
go,
all good.
buddy.
But see how
Holy.
one person shows up?
For sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And it ripple effect.
It's fun, but it's not easy being the one.
The one.
Now,
No.
but we're all the one in our lives.
Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't matter if it's families, because, I believe all of our families have these gifts, but most either will just not acknowledge or just tune it or think it's just
We
whatever the
all,
hell's
because
going
we're
on.
all spiritual beings. So
Yeah.
we all have them.
So if our family acts like, oh, this shit is witchcraft or whatever, if they have any reaction to the spiritual practice that you're doing or you believe in, it is confirmation that deep inside of them,
they have
they
it.
believe in it.
Right.
Ooh.
Because if they're reacting, their ego is feeling intimidated. You're
Yep.
about to move me out of my comfort zone.
Yep.
F you, Chris.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
Well,
if they're
yep.
reacting to what you're talking about or saying or
Yep.
putting yourself out there, it's because they have it within them.
Oh,
and now you've
absolutely.
triggered something.
Well, and it's like I call it the thumb in the eye, because you're going, "Pook." You're like, that hurt. It's like, well, then just step up and get at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pook, stop that. Well,
Yeah.
just step up, make
Yeah.
a change, do what you're capable of doing.
Yeah.
But no one likes a thumb in the eye, or no one likes a kick in the pants, or no
Yeah.
one likes an
And being
energetic
the
wedgie.
how
It's like-
frustrating you guys
Energetic
of
wedgie.
being the I don't want to say leader of it, but being the first one of the pack, being the black sheep to be like, I want to develop and step into this,
Yep.
and then being so you become so frustrated at times looking at your family members or these people that you love or these people who are causing a lot of chaos in your life, and you're going, why aren't you just stepping in to your power and potential here?
Yep.
I am only triggering this within you because you have something to heal and to bring forward.
Yep.
And if you're mad at me, I'm just triggering something within you.
Yep.
That's already there.
Yep. And then you bless them on their way.
Yeah.
bless
And
them on
say,
their way.
here it is.
I'm in my lane and I'm going forward.
So the
And-
power of stepping in and being the black sheep means you really got to work on your own confidence
Yep.
and the ability of being able to walk alone.
Very true. Because we all want to be distracted in helping or going out or pouring it outside of us, rather than
Yeah.
having those conversations or looking in the mirror, and they're not always fun.
No.
Or saying, okay, well, what's this mean to me?
Yeah.
When you're young, you're saying, I got this information coming at me. I don't know what it means.
Yeah.
Hand me another beer.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we're all
Let's
there.
suppress this.
Yeah, exactly. Let's shut this
You
guy.
two barely drink. I still drink, and I love it. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, there's a reason that we quit, Sherry. Wasn't that I wanted to quit.
We had to.
Yeah. Some days I'm like, God, I missed that.
That's when I say, I'll just have 2 glasses of wine. One for you and one for
Yeah,
me. It's all
absolutely.
good.
But
So-
that's the thing too, Chris, and I want to acknowledge that as we're still in the family topic a little bit. The other day I said to my husband, I just want to fix what is broken. Like I just want to. And he said, but by doing that, you're going to devalue yourself. You're going to lower your vibration and you're not going to respect your vibrations.
Jordan
This is
said
my
that?
husband telling me this.
God,
There you
that's
go.
And I looked at him and thought, yeah, like if I'm going to continue where I want to go and be the black sheep and lead,
Yep.
I need to be okay to stand alone at times. And it's uncomfortable, and you're going to have haters, and you're going to have knives thrown at you, but you cannot meet the vibration of the attackers because then you become attacked.
Yep.
Ooh.
And that can be through family, through public, through clientele, whoever it is, whatever it is. You can't get wrapped up in it. You're stirring shit up because you're leading.
Yep.
And continue to lead. Because if you fall down in that vibration, you will no longer lead.
And I think that's what a lot of people who take your courses, that's one of the biggest hang-ups. It's just like, I love this material. It lands so strongly for me. But I still can't tell anybody that I'm taking it.
Right.
I don't want to say that word.
Well, it's
like
it's for sure. It's the shedding of the it's the shedding of the self.
It's a process.
It's a process.
Because it's what we know, whatever we're ingrained with, whether and trained from our family or friends or teacher,
Yeah.
preacher, whatever you call it, and then say we have to shed that and then let our light shine. And that's I love it, but not everyone's looking. Like
No.
it's just like you're right. They'll get angry with you or they'll push away. It's like, okay, not everyone's looking, or not everyone's my style or your
Yeah.
style or
Yeah,
yours.
that's
but,
right.
But if we're the invite to greater, then that's all we can be.
Yeah.
And if they jump on board, great. If they don't, that's their choice. I'm not here to help. Neither are you. You're here to empower, invite them to something great. Hold space, as you often say.
Yeah.
And say,
Yeah.
here's what's possible.
Yeah.
But you got to want it.
Yeah.
You don't want it, there's that train's back there then.
Yeah.
Because this one's going this way.
And you can be the teacher, the leader, or the guide, or whatever word you want to use. But if you're not integrating it in your own life, I can tell every student to be the black sheep. But if I'm not embracing the black sheep that I am, I actually am not bringing my students with me. Like I'm not giving
You're
them the
not-
power.
yeah.
So I need to show up in what I teach and preach.
Yep.
I have a responsibility too. So if people ask, like
how do you get so smart at such a young age, Hassel? Like, what is this? Seriously.
I don't know. I'm still dumb at this age, so
I'm
there's
still,
no hope for
I
me.
know.
So,
There's hope for you.
yeah,
But
all
it's
good.
the channeled connection, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just so grateful that I developed and found this ability that we all have. We all
Yeah.
have so early in my life, because I think a lot of my journey's not been easy. It's
No.
and that's where I need people to understand. Mediumship doesn't make your life easier. It just makes you understand your life more. It makes you realize that life is not trying to shit on you. You just need to decide how you're going to get through this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you're going to present yourself and what greater you deserve in your life.
And that's
absolutely.
your word choice, right?
Well, it is, but because we come from lack, disempowerment, control, victim, that's where we come from. Pick anybody off the street, coconut comes out of the tree and hits you on the head. That's probably where you came from.
Yeah.
Why? Because that's what everyone knew. Where you arrive on the scene at whatever age you were and said, I don't really agree with what's happening here. I don't feel this is different. So you're right. You're the one. You get either ridiculed or you're misunderstood, and then once you get through that, and then you say, well, there's another side to it. But you're right. You got to get through the tough patch to get
Yeah.
to there.
And if you're not fulfilled in your reality, if you're seeking more, what is it to you to be the black sheep you've always been in?
Well, I think we could even redefine black sheep. Like
Like, you're the fucking sparkly, magical
yeah, well,
one.
there you go. Exactly. Yeah.
Jordan will be so mad. He's like, Taylor, don't swear as much this interview. I'm
I
like,
love it.
Jordan, they take me seriously.
I love it.
Because black sheep keeps you small.
Yeah.
And black sheep keeps you in line, and black sheep allows you to be controlled.
Yeah, and kind of backed into the corner. Like,
Yeah,
Because-
scared.
Scared.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Fear-based.
we're all. I mean, every morning you wake up, people talk about anxiety. That's just fear of a potential that's coming that you think is going to be bad. That's
Yeah.
all it is.
Yeah.
Which is on the rise.
And then they go to the doc and get meds.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because they're so scared of the reality and the outpour of the energy of what they're feeling for where their life is about to go.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have noticed, but ADHD, I'm seeing all these women coming out. They're announcing, I've just been diagnosed, they're 30, 40, 50 years old, and they've just been diagnosed with ADHD. I can go against that and say it's not ADHD.
Yeah.
It's you now realize you've got something greater inside of you, and
Yeah.
it's bringing up anxiety and anxiousness, and
Yeah.
you can't focus because you have not yet ignited your potential.
Yeah.
And it feels really gross until you start to dive into it.
But my worry for that is, as soon as you're diagnosed with something, that becomes your excuse. Not
It's your
to-
Band-Aid.
It's your Band-Aid because
Yeah.
you say, well, this is the way I am because of this.
Yeah.
Well, then you never look outside of it.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I'm the way I am because of this.
Yeah.
I'm ADHD.
Yeah,
I'm
I've been
mad,
diagnosed with bipolar. I'm
Yep.
anxiety. I'm depressed.
Yep.
All of these are just Band-Aids for why are you feeling the way that you're feeling?
Yeah.
All you have to ask yourself.
So then it takes what it is, puts a story around it, and now it's cemented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you go, take the story off. Fine if you think that at the time, but what's possible today?
Yeah.
And no one's asking that question. What's possible today? What do I want to choose today? What do I want to be today?
How am I
do
showing
wanna
up
feel
today?
How am I showing up?
Yeah. There's so much power in what we're able to create, and I've been learning that too. This last year is like what you want wants you. It doesn't come forward just because it's a dream of your future.
Yep.
If you can see it, it's within arm's reach, and it's only up to you. Nobody's going to give it to you to pull it in, to attract it, because you have to meet the vibration. And if you're going to meet the vibration, you better show up.
Yep.
I'm so glad this is being recorded
But
because it's juicy stuff, you
But
guys.
once you've made the decision to go after it, it comes towards you as fast as you go towards it.
Exactly.
But most never make the choice or the decision.
Nope.
They say, I want this. Cool.
But they're not willing
Yeah.
to do
They're
anything.
not doing it.
No.
Oh, well, if it's meant to be, it'll land in my lap.
It won't.
Cool.
Yeah.
Tell me how that works. So,
Yeah, exactly.
See you next lifetime, pal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So you're like, well, are you really learning anything, or is it just the same old recycled Groundhog Day?
Yeah.
So
Because of, we all are energy and we all meet energy, and what we want is attached to an energy. So if we cannot meet the vibration of that energy, it will never walk into our life.
yeah.
I just made a meditation I sent to Sherry this morning. It's of being in a glass box. You can see greater and you can see worse, but yet you're trapped in this glass box.
Yep.
So you can't have greater.
No.
You can't have worse. You're just in a comfort zone.
Stuck.
And you can manifest and you can dream and wish, but if you're not willing to show up
Yep.
and create and be and empower
And
and
go
be,
beyond that glass.
you'll never get
boundary.
anything different.
No.
Yeah.
And that's where the growth and the choice of it puts us all in uncomfortable, and that's what pulls stuff towards us. But it's what 9/10 of the population is trying to avoid.
The
Yes,
discomfort.
The
The discomfort.
discomfort.
And
So-
I think your talk one time was becoming comfortable in the discomfort.
Yeah.
That is where we grow. That is where we become. That is where our lessons are and our teachings. And if we can't show up and embrace the discomfort, we will never become anything greater.
No. And I think that's where we're stymied and stuck, because we're taught distraction, we're taught comfort, we're taught, and we're teaching it to our kids. You're never wrong. We bubble wrap them. We send them
Right.
out to the world. And you know what? Some of the biggest learns in our lives, the three of us, is when we fell down and smashed our nose into the concrete. And
Absolutely.
it sucked.
It
It
does,
sucked,
yeah.
sucked. But you got up and went, holy man, that hurt like hell.
And it's in that moment when the story changed, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. You say, either I'm going to pick something different. I may not do that again. But
That's when all of a sudden you have choice.
Choice.
wow, I like that word. Choice.
That's Chris Choice Hassel. That's what we call you.
Choice hassle. There
Choice.
you go.
But it's powerful, and even
Yeah.
as we're showing up, we're choosing right now in this space, in this talk show that we're having right now on
Yeah.
the subscription. We're showing up by choice to empower and inspire and also create within us to raise our vibration to attract greater in our lives. And we might help and influence those around us by doing so. But why are we doing it? To show up for ourselves.
For ourselves. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the big point that no one.
Oh, the
understands.
selfish point, right?
Yeah,
because,
it is.
Because of programming and belief system, it is not selfish to say, I want to grow and become something greater. I want to attract something greater. I want to be greater. That is perfect. Just be in alignment with that and continue to grow into that,
Absolute perfection in that.
right?
Yep.
Stop doing it for everybody and start doing it for yourself. See what you can create then.
And then you start to bring the others.
Yeah.
You pave the way for others, right? To either
It's like
be
an
or
apple tree.
follow
You're
it.
the apple tree. You grow and water your tree, and then you can nourish all those around you.
Ooh, that's a gooder.
But you have everything that you need.
Yeah. Just get out of the way.
Yeah.
Isn't it powerful?
Holy
It's
man.
amazing.
Powerful.
She's a little powerhouse, this one.
Any more questions for the child?
Where do you see yourself going next? How do you see this
Okay,
unfolding
you guys,
for
this is good. So I've got my 3 programs going. Moving into this fall, I'm teaching all 3 of them leading up to Christmas. That's great. That means my schedule is full. Probably not much expansion there besides helping and supporting. But moving into the new year, I'm really becoming open to, I want to get on a stage. I want to start to help people at a larger.
Yeah,
That's what I'm trying
love
to
it.
call in. That's what I want to pull in. I feel like these interviews and holding space for people and just teaching has really led me into, I want to show up and talk. I want to show up and channel this energy and
Because you have
bring
so
in a
much
crowd.
to say and share.
Like, there's so much in just showing up and having a conversation. So I don't want to have these conversations in small groups anymore. I want them to get bigger. I want to be able to show up at a much larger capacity. That's my goal.
That's why you're in our little podcast room today.
I know.
Here we are.
Which is such a professional, exciting.
It's not little, it's
a great
powerful.
vibe. This is powerful, Chris.
Well, most people I find that when they're going to do these types of things is they won't take it to the level, and don't get me wrong, this isn't like broadcast center or something
Well,
like that.
it feels like it. It's
But-
Oprah-esque.
Yeah, it's
buddy.
Oprah-esque. But when you say, okay, if we're going to do something, let's try to do it well.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't have an unlimited budget, but no different. That's why when we first said, let's have the conversation, I'm like, okay, let's give them a different experience. Let's bring them in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously, we had some powerful things to
You
discuss.
gave us a taste, and here we are back.
Yeah.
I'm like, I
Yeah.
can't do an interview less than what we did for Chris. Like, this
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but that's the thing. We
It's the
chose.
vibration.
We chose. The vibration went up. We made
Level
it,
up.
and then
Level
away
up.
we go. Now it's like I don't want to go back there.
No.
Zooms are fun. Don't get me wrong.
Great.
Nothing wrong with them.
Yeah.
Yep.
But on the caliber, if you said, well, now all your interviews are at this level,
Yeah.
you're saying, well, shit, get me more of that.
Yeah.
When you stay in a nice hotel, yeah, I want more of that. I don't want
Yeah.
a $69 a night room over
So
there.
now,
Right.
so if you're able to see that, now you have to continue to create the experiences and the opportunities and get creative so that you're able to continue
Yep.
to have that.
Yeah.
but
right?
that's where we get stymied, is because we stop choosing and creating.
We have it once, we have a taste of it,
Yep.
and then we almost go back into our shell and go, oh, that was so great and so cool, but I'm actually kind of scared of it. I'm
Right.
actually kind of intimidated
absolutely.
because what could I
Retract.
grow
I'm gonna
into and
retract.
become if I was there? Ooh, I feel exposed. Ooh, back into the shell, right?
Yep. Oh, absolutely.
And it doesn't mean it becomes comfortable. It should always be a little bit uncomfortable to show up and do what you're meant to do. You should always have to step through even just a little taste of discomfort.
Some of my past mentors have called it the terror barrier. So the terror barrier will come up, and you'll either confront it, and you'll either go through it, over it, or around it. You'll get through it, or someone will just go boonk.
Yeah.
And that's it. They never
Yeah.
get up again. The terror barrier won.
Yeah, it's like gymnastics class, right? You're going through like a relay or something. Like,
Yeah.
are you going to jump over it, or is it going to be the thing that ends it?
What do you call that again?
The terror barrier.
So funny, I have to interject. This is so wild. My late husband, who's been gone for 15 years, now he used to say to me, Sherry, how many times you realize you can't go through the brick wall? Like, you keep running into it and there's blood running down your
Yeah.
back. Like, you can go around it or you can
Yeah.
go over it. You can even dig a tunnel under it.
Yep.
Stop smashing into the brick wall. That's exactly what you're saying, isn't it?
Well, pretty much it's just to find a way around, or just get through it. But most the first time of adversity, they'll hit it and they'll fall over and
Yeah,
they'll say,
done.
"That's not for me."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I often equate it to like a baby. So your youngster, if she got up the first time and thunked her head against the coffee table and said, "No, I'm not a walker.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not doing
It's
it.
over.
No,
That's
it's
it,
over.
yeah.
I'm not walking ever
Yeah.
again. That hurt like hell. Do you know guys that hurt like hell?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
They get up the next day. It's like, okay, I'm a little better at it.
Right.
And that's how we should be living our lives. Where most people are like, pop, ow, I'm done.
I didn't like
Yeah.
it. I didn't like that
quit.
feeling.
I quit.
I'm
So-
gonna go sit on my gamer and play games, or I'm
Yeah.
gonna go get drunk. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, cool, good for you, but there's no.
It's in the moment where the brick wall or the barrier shows up that we ask, why? Like, why is this causing me, or what is this causing me inside? Why am I feeling the anxiety, or why am I feeling the discomfort? Like, is this going to be the thing that up-levels me? Probably.
Yeah.
It's probably
Yeah.
your next opportunity, and that's why the anxiety shows up, and I don't know if
Blocks
I'm
and
good
the
enough,
fears
and
and-
the
Yeah.
ego, and all the reasons why you can't. And I always say, I've always taught it, that's confirmation. You've got all that you need to get over that wall. It's just the one thing questioning you before you start to climb
Yeah.
it. Are you good enough?
Yeah.
You
And
have it.
And you have to believe that. You have to believe
You have
that
to
you're
be
good
like,
enough.
fuck, I'm going to get over this wall.
Yeah.
I maybe don't know how, and I don't know how long it's going to take me, but I'm going to do it.
But then
I'm
we
gonna do
talked
it.
about it last time. We had a quick visit, and we can maybe circle around to that. If we have a group of people around us that can give us some confirmation and some support, because no one ever wants to just walk out somebody in the street and say, I'm struggling, or hey, I'm having problems at home with my wife, or my sales aren't good. It's like, well, get those people around you that can give you some positive confirmation. Say,
Community.
Taylor, you're okay with this, or Sherry,
Like-minded,
yeah. It's
yeah.
like, hey, you got this. It's like, just get out of your own way or do that. Some people use mastermind groups over the years, or the community that you've developed, or the yoga community. Doesn't matter.
Oh,
Just
exactly.
Pick your tribe. Pick your
We
people.
all need
and
Pick
say-
your
community.
tribe. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Tribe. I love that
We've
word.
all got that one person you call up and say, you know what, I just fell into a pile of poop.
I
Yeah.
fucked up.
and they're just like, okay, well, wash yourself off.
Yeah.
Tomorrow will be a new
And
day.
it's
get
okay.
back in.
It is okay to have support and to have a community, because
Yep.
we've been taught and programmed that you do it on your own.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but that's not where success happens.
No, it's
We're not meant-
through the
humans are- we're
experience and the
tribe animals.
conversations
Yeah.
and the support
Yeah.
that you become. You cannot become on your own.
No, our egos will tell us that.
Yeah.
And say, oh, I did this. No, you didn't. You had a cast of characters and people and support behind you that got you to this level.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you can't see that, the fall might be hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it might be a big
Best
one.
of
Yeah.
luck on the crash,
That's gonna
my
be a
friend.
big
Best of luck on the
coconut.
crash.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, it's
Powerful.
It's interesting stuff. Well,
It's good. Well, thank you guys. I feel like we touched on what we needed to touch on, and I hope my story resonates to everybody in some way, shape, or form. But just keep being you, because you're the world needs you. You're unique,
Yep.
Yeah.
and we each are. We each have our own little spice, and it's unique to the world. So.
I think it's really important for anybody who's listening who already has a subscription, bring a friend in and listen to one whole interview with you, because we need people outside of this subscription package to become a part of it. And it's not even on the monetary level. It's about learning about all the stuff that we've just talked about today. It's really important that, like, this is a good news message, you guys. Like,
Yeah.
the world needs it. I don't mean to be the evangelistic, whatever you call it, but it's just like people need to know this.
Yeah.
You're okay who you are. And when you can have people like Taylor or this community helping you kind of take away the obstacles and find the path, holy shit, this
Yeah.
is going
Look
to
out.
multiply and get bigger and grow, and
Yeah.
it's just going to make,
It's an exciting time.
it's an exciting time.
yeah.
and in duplication, or I'm going to say, listening to it a number of times, each time you listen to it, there's many topics we touched on today, too many to count.
Yeah.
So the first time you listen through it, you may hear this and this. Well, the next time you're a different person.
Yeah. Every day you're a different
You're
person.
screening through a different
Yeah.
lens, different part, and you'll say, okay, I didn't hear
Different
that last time.
message.
I didn't hear that last
And
time.
I know, when I listen to these interviews, it's like they're just regular, ordinary people that you're interviewing.
They're
just
talking
as
to you,
are.
right?
And I'm like, holy shit, I've got that struggle too. I thought I was the only one.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
you're not.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's showing up vulnerable and,
Yeah.
and letting the world know that they're not alone.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Taylor, for showing up vulnerable and holding
Yeah.
space and stepping and listening and asking. answering
Finally,
our
we get to
questions.
put her in the hot seat.
Yeah,
This
exactly.
needed to happen,
Thank you
Madonic.
guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was important.
Yeah.
So please, what do we say at the end of these? Like, share, subscribe, wherever you're getting Taylor's
Yeah, that's
information.
right.
Get out there.
Call
and-
your people in.
Oh yeah, and and Sherry and I are speaking from firsthand experience. We have experienced your courses. We got another one starting in the fall. God help me. God help us.
Oh, hang on to your shorts, I say.
She's going to put us through the ringer.
Yeah.
It's like, woo. So I mean, wherever you can, find Taylor, if you're interested in her subscription or obviously what she does, it's powerful stuff. It's given us all different greater, levels of awareness and
Yeah.
holding space and getting out of our own way. Let's
Yeah.
face it, and we can all use a bit more of that in this world.
Absolutely.
So
Thank you, guys.
that's a wrap.
Thank you.
All right, take care.